Hello chess enthusiasts, my name is Miha and welcome to my chessrealm YouTube channel. So today I want to show you a game between Popov and Riumin, relatively unknown players. Okay, Nikolai Riumin is maybe better known because he was a strong master in the early 1930s and one of the most significant opponents of Mikhail Botvini, who later became world champion, but unfortunately his career was cut short by his early death. Anyway, in the game, Popov had white pieces and he started with d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, bishop to b4, and we have Nimzo Indian defense. Queen goes to b3, c5, knight to f3, knight to c6, e3, black castles, king side, normal developing moves followed, bishop goes to e2, b6, white castles, king side, bishop goes to b7, and now knight to b5. With the intention knight to d6, trying to harass this bishop, but maybe premature since white isn't fully developed. So d5 was played, striking the center. White plays a3, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to a5, rook to d1, and now a6, trying to get rid of this knight on b5. And white should remove the knight back to c3, but instead c-pawn captures on d5. E-pawn, of course, recaptures on d5, and now knight goes back to c3. And here black should have simply played c4, later with b5, creating a space for bishop to go to c7. But black played b5 immediately, leaving this c-pawn unprotected. So white could have simply captured on c5 and white would be a pawn up, but white saw the things otherwise. Queen to c2 was played, and now black grabs the opportunity. c4 was played, b4, and now bishop goes to c7. Well, white wants to activate his dark square bishop, so maybe a4 with action on the king side would be appropriate choice, but white played e4, opening the diagonal, but also opening the center, where the two bishops will soon start to dominate. D-pawn captures on e4, knight recaptures on e4, knight recaptures on e4, and now queen recaptures on e4. Queen is in the center, is prone to an attack, so black grabs the opportunity, rook to e8, attacking the queen. Queen goes back to c2, and now queen to d6, naturally targeting this h2 square. So all black needs to do is to somehow get rid of this knight on f3 in order to start an attack. So white has to act fast. g3 was played, protecting h2 square, but further weakening his kingside pawn structure. Queen goes to d5 was played. The long diagonal is now even more prone to an attack. White continues with bishop to e3, h6, and queen to d2. You might think that white is targeting this h6 square. Well, white in reality cannot sacrifice the bishop and launch any serious attack here. Nevertheless, rook to e6 was played. White plays rook to e1, and now rook to f6. And now black is clearly targeting this knight on f3, who is twice attacked. Well, white is already in serious trouble here. Still, maybe white could try with queen to d1, further supporting the knight. But white played king to g2, putting his king onto a long diagonal, and this is a very bad choice. Well, black has a lot of options to convert his advantage. For example, knight to e7. Now knight is 3 times attacked. Even after queen to d1, further defending, then knight to f5, and later with rook to e8. Black's attack would be simply overwhelming. But in the game, black plays h6. So black has decided to play a seemingly harmless move, but actually baiting white to give check, and white took the bait. Queen goes to c2 check, and now g6. And believe it or not, with this move black prepared everything for his final combination. All he has to do is to wait for the next move. If white would have played queen to d1, further reinforcing knight on f3, then this plan would fail. But white played queen goes back to d2. And now black unleashes the attack. rook captures on f3 was played. White has to recapture, otherwise he's down in material, so bishop recaptures on f3, and now another stunning move. Queen captures on f3. Check. Well, let's see. If king goes back to g1, then knight to d4, it's mate in the next move, no matter what white does. If king goes back to f1, then bishop to c8. Bishop to h3 is the threat. Rook from e to b1, for example, doesn't help. Then bishop to g4. e2 square is protected, and queen to h1 would be mate in 1. And of course, after king g1, then bishop to h3 and mate in the next move. So in the game, white captures the queen, knight goes to d4, double check. King can only go to g4, bishop goes to c8, check. King goes to h4, and knight to f3, it was checkmate. So I hope you liked this game, I hope you have learned something from it. If you have any questions, my email is below in the description. Of course, I invite you to visit my Instagram page. That's it for now, and see you soon.